Have you ever looked at your bank account after a paycheck and thought, why does it feel like I have nothing? Even when you're making $100,000 a year, the numbers just don't feel like enough. You might be asking yourself, why do I feel poor when on paper I'm doing fine? It's not just you. Most people experience this quietly month after month. They see friends upgrading cars, families moving into bigger homes, social media posts of success flashing past, and somehow, no matter how much they earn, it never feels like it's enough. And the worst part, it slowly creeps into your mind, shaping your decisions, your habits, and even your sense of self-worth. Here's the tricky part. The problem isn't the money. It's not that $100,000 is too little. In fact, that's a substantial income, especially compared to most people worldwide. The issue is mindset. We live in a culture where bigger feels better. Bigger house, bigger paycheck, bigger lifestyle. We're constantly measuring our lives against benchmarks that aren't really ours. And when you compare yourself to someone making $250,000 or someone traveling every month, $100,000 can start to feel empty. This isn't a flaw in your character. It's a predictable psychological response. Your brain adapts. It's called hedonic adaptation. We get used to what we have, and suddenly the numbers that once seemed large start to feel small. And then there's social comparison. Even if you're content, seeing what others have, especially online, triggers a subtle sense of inadequacy. You start to feel like you're behind, like somehow you're failing, even though logically you're doing fine. Most advice you hear focuses on earning more, saving more, or hustling harder, but that misses the real issue. It's not just about income. It's about perspective, about understanding why $100,000 might feel like nothing, even when it's a lot. Let's dig into why this happens. First, there's relative thinking. Our brains are wired to compare. You might remember getting your first paycheck and feeling like a king. Maybe $3,000 a month felt huge. Fast forward a few years. You're making $8,000 a month, but it doesn't feel any different. Why? Because now your reference point has shifted. You compare yourself to your new reality, not your old one. Then there's lifestyle inflation. When we earn more, we spend more. Subconsciously, we upgrade before we pause. New apartment, nicer car, more expensive dinners. These expenses rise in parallel with income, keeping us feeling perpetually just getting by. It's subtle, almost invisible, but it's powerful. Your money grows, but so do your expectations. And don't forget financial blind spots. Many people earn $100,000 but have no framework to understand what that really means in terms of wealth. You might be contributing to retirement accounts, paying off debt, covering living expenses, and still feel like the balance never adds up. That's because wealth isn't just income. It's freedom, options, and long-term security. And if your focus is only on the immediate numbers, that bigger picture gets lost. Here's another factor: comparison traps amplified by culture. When you scroll through social media, you're seeing snapshots of other people's lives. A friend posts a new house, a coworker just bought a luxury car, someone else took an expensive vacation. Even if these snapshots represent a tiny fraction of their reality, your mind treats it like the standard. Suddenly, your comfortable life feels small. And finally, there's expectation bias. Once we hit a certain income level, we expect life to feel easier, more rewarding. But money alone rarely delivers the satisfaction we think it will. That sense of progress we crave comes not just from numbers, but from mastery, control, and understanding. Without those, even a six-figure salary can feel like a mirage. Let me give you an example. Imagine two people both making $100,000. One has a clear financial plan, understands investing, and sees their money working for them. They feel a sense of calm and confidence. The other spends the same income keeping up with friends, reacts to every urge to upgrade lifestyle, and has no clear savings framework. They feel stressed, anxious, and like they're always behind. Same income, two completely different emotional experiences. So it's not the income that determines how rich you feel. It's mindset, your habits, the way you process your earning, spending, and future planning. Here's the realization most people miss. Wealth isn't measured by the size of your paycheck. It's measured by control, understanding, and perspective. You start to feel the difference when you stop measuring yourself against others and instead measure your progress against your own growth. That's where calm comes in. That's where $100,000 stops feeling like nothing because you see it as a tool that provides options, security, and freedom. It's also about redefining enough. Enough doesn't mean perfection. It doesn't mean the flashiest house on the block. Enough is what allows you to live comfortably, make decisions without panic, and feel like your work is supporting your life rather than ruling it. Once you shift your thinking from constant comparison to intentional evaluation, the stress fades. You can appreciate your income, regardless of what social media says or what your coworker earns. You start seeing the value in steady growth, compounding habits, and informed choices. So how can you apply this today? Start small. First, track your true financial picture. Don't just look at your paycheck, look at your net worth, your progress over time, your debt, your investments. Seeing the bigger picture helps you feel the value of what you already have. Second, practice intentional spending. Before buying something, ask, does this move me closer to my long-term goals, or is it just keeping up? You'll find clarity in separating wants from meaningful choices. Third, pause before lifestyle upgrades. Instead of automatically upgrading every new paycheck, give yourself a cooling off period. Even a few months of reflection can prevent unnecessary inflation. And lastly, cultivate gratitude for what your income allows. Not in a forced, cliche way, but by recognizing freedom, options, and security. When you can pay your bills comfortably, save for emergencies, and invest in your future, $100,000 is not nothing. It's a powerful foundation. I want you to remember this. Feeling like you don't have enough isn't a flaw in you. It's part of how the human mind works. But once you understand the patterns, adaptation, comparison, expectation, you gain control. Your income doesn't define your worth, and it doesn't have to dictate your happiness. With perspective, intentional choices, and a calm approach, $100,000 can feel significant, not just in numbers, but in the freedom, security, and options it provides. So the next time you look at your bank account and feel a pang of not enough, pause, reflect. See the real value behind the numbers. Celebrate the progress, the consistency, the wisdom in how you're using it. Because progress always beats perfection and understanding always beats worry.